My understanding is that you went out with this protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted godson.
Yes.
Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right. Yes.
I mean, that sounds like an experience that would send lots of people to the psychiatric couch for many, many years. Was it difficult?
Not at all. Not at all.
Alrighty, guys, Conservative Confucius back at it again. We're going to be covering something I missed in the last video, but don't forget to go down there, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for all notifications. Alrighty, the George Soros funded part I mentioned, where George Soros and the agitators and the collaborators and the protesters, organization groups, they are funded by George Soros, his brother, and Qatar mainly, which is Hamas. And George Soros, he's a traitor to his people. He's a disgusting human being. We all know that. But what did this man really do? Well, he worked for the Nazis. His father in Hungary, a Jewish man, wanted to send his son, his oldest son, George, away because he was his prized child. And he wanted to protect him. But he thought living with us on the run might be dangerous. If we don't get to the safe place soon, or if we get stopped on the way leaving this place, we could be killed. So he's like, okay, I'm going to send him to go live with a friend I have in Austria or Germany. I can't remember which one it was. And it was a Nazi, a man who worked for the Nazis. He was a Nazi party member. And he repossessed Jewish homes and property from them in Poland and Austria and Germany. And George went to live with him and work for him. And he took people's homes away, forced them out of their homes while they're literally in there taking their stuff, and he's basically putting it in boxes, taking it away from them. And this is the type of man who is now controlling politics in many aspects, who's controlling all this stuff, who completely hates the world, who hates his own country of Israel, who hates not his own country, but I mean the country of his people. And he's a piece of crap on every level. He's a traitor to his people, a traitor to his own country of America, which he lives in. He's a traitor to his nation, his people's nation of Israel. He's a traitor to everything that he's ever stood for, and yet he's so prevalent throughout politics. He funds politicians, he funds organization groups, he funds DAs and judges who release criminals with no bail and don't charge them and don't prosecute them. This is a man who has his hands in everything, and he's great friends with people like Klaus Schwab, who run the World Economic Forum, who was also a Nazi. His dad was a Nazi party member, not an actual military member, and he ran one of the largest armament companies that the Nazis worked with. And he inherited all this money. He was part of Hitler Youth as well. And he used the majority of that money, actually, to start the World Economic Forum, to try to get as much global power as he could. He spent a whole bunch of money. I mean, he literally lost like 3/4 of it just trying to get where he is today. And now he has the largest world government summit and world government coalition that's ever existed. And it is dangerous. And even though we don't see George and Klaus together a lot, they are very, very close. And he's basically Klaus's, evil guy in America, basically. He does everything that he needs. He pays all the politicians. He, puts in place all these, judges and lawyers. He does everything he can to destabilize America. He's Klaus's destabilizing force for America. And then once America's destabilized enough, Klaus wants Gavin Newsom to be the president of the United States because he's the Trudeau of America. And just so you know, Trudeau is a young global leadership leader. He was part of the Young World Economic Forum Young Global Leadership Program, where you basically go and learn how to be a world leader, but for the World Economic Forum, for their policies, for their agenda, which, by the way, their agenda is called the 2030 Agenda, where you will own nothing and be happy. That's exactly what it says in their advertisements. You will own nothing and be happy. So yeah, just remember that, guys. Be safe and be aware of the people that are trying to twist and change this world in ways that we will not recognize it. Those people don't care about anything but themselves. Alrighty, let's get into it.
I mean, that sounds like an experience that would send lots of people to the psychiatric couch for many, many years. Was it difficult?
Not at all.
Yeah, because you're a sociopath.
Maybe as a child you don't see the connection, but it created no problem at all.
No feeling of guilt.
No.
Pathetic. Pathetic, dude. You shouldn't be able to sit there and say, no feeling of guilt. Nope. I don't regret or have any guilt for anything. I'm just a crazy sociopath who didn't mind stealing property and homes away. It's the very Jewish people I'm a part of. What a horrible person. Like, seriously. All right, let's get into it. So yeah, Jewish billionaire George Soros linked to pro-Palestine protests and U.S. support. So it turns out that the protest organized by George Soros-funded Students for Justice in Palestine. That's this group, right? Where are they? There you go. So this group right here, this is Students for Justice for Palestine in Palestine. They are one of multiple groups funded not only by George Soros, but by Qatar, Hamas, and recently discovered, new news, the Muslim Brotherhood. I mean, these are huge terrorist organizations, massive. And then they also have a connection with George Soros, which is weird. Even George Soros has a connection, not just to these groups, but he has a connection. His brother actually has a connection to the Muslim Brotherhood. I mean, this is dangerous shit, man. Why are we allowing these? I mean, like, if it's not about what they're doing on the campus, even if it was legal, you shouldn't be allowing groups that have connections to, like, say for example, we had a group of people protesting on, let's just say a college campus again. But we found out that they're not only paid and organized by, Al-Qaeda or the Taliban. What would you do? Would you say, oh, they're just they're peaceful? No, you would remove them. They are an agitating terrorist group who is trying to destabilize an area. And you would remove them because they are connected to a group that is listed as a terrorist organization. Just like these people, they're connected to groups and nations that fund terrorist groups and are terrorist people in groups that are terrorists. So why are we sitting here allowing this to happen and acting like, oh, it's just these peaceful groups? I'm glad that they're doing something now, but there's still people who are letting it happen. It's bullshit. So the 3 fellows leading into the protest are being paid by Soros groups. His Open Society Foundations, Rockefeller Brothers Fund, have reportedly funded SJP, which is the Students for Justice in Palestine. George Soros is paying student radicals who are feeling, by the way, they're actually paying him now. So you get, if I remember correctly, you get like $780. I don't know if it's listed here. Let's see. Because I was watching an entire thing on it earlier. Oh, there it is. $7,800. Here it is. So this is his group, and it says provides up to $7,800, not $780, $7,800 for its community-based fellows, and between $2,800 and $3,600 for its campus-based fellows, in return for spending 8 hours a week organizing campaigns led by Palestinian organizations. They are trained to rise up to revolution. The radical group received at least $300,000 from the Soros Open Society Foundation since 2017. Took in $355,000 from Rockefeller Brothers Fund since 2019, also a Soros-connected organization. George Soros and Wall Street moguls have financed anti-Israel groups behind campus protests at Columbia University. I mean, this is insane, dude. This is absurd. What is going on? Why are they allowed to do this and no one is saying anything about that part? I mean, I'm glad people are doing something, but they should be talking about this more than anything. It has the fellows who have been major figures in the nationwide protest movement. Nida Lafi, former president of the University of Texas for Students in Justice in Palestine, was seen at an encampment in UT Dallas, which is weird because that's not anywhere. University of Texas is in Austin, so maybe she was just at a different campus, but making a speech to end, the war in Gaza. Lafi is a former former legislative, intern for the Democratic Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson, graduated from the school last year, so she doesn't even go there anymore, and is now a student at Southern Methodist University in Dallas. Lafi was seen, okay, at Austin, Texas, too. Wow. She's just going all over. In January, she was detained for blocking a route from President Biden's motorcade when he arrived in Dallas. At Yale, that's the U.S., I think it's George Soros' funded group, fellow Craig Burkhead Morton was arrested Monday. Oh, by the way, I wanted to make sure I added this in. Jewish Voices for Peace is also a George Soros funded group. So, yeah, just another one to add on to the list. Yalees for Palestine, I'm guessing that's on there as well. Oh, it's an SJP branch. Okay. Maneki Plaza, the Yale Daily reported. So we're charged with first-degree trespassing. Okay, so they were arrested. Where's that? Burkhead Morton, also a former intern for a Democrat. Maryland Representative John Sarbanes emerged from custody to address a sit-in blocking traffic in New Haven, which is illegal. You can't. I'm guessing the guy circled is him right there. Boom. The most high-profile fellows in Berkeley is Malak Faneh, co-president of Berkeley Law Students for Justice in Palestine. And don't forget, I mean, they're not mentioning it, but don't forget Ilhan Omar's daughter. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. Is she her daughter or her daughter and her niece? Because she did marry your brother. So does that mean that it's her daughter-niece? Her niece-daughter? Or is it just her daughter? And is it with that guy? Or is it with another one? Because it looks like it was with her brother, not with someone else that she married. Because she's married to a white guy now. And it's obviously not with a white guy. Because she's darker and her brother is darker than her. So I assume that's who she had the kid with, is her brother. And that's not a joke, by the way. People think like that's some like conspiracy theory. It's not. Like, you can go look it up. Stephen Crowder's talked about it a lot. These groups set up a tent city on Columbia Lawn last Wednesday. Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, Jewish Voices for Peace, and Within Our Lifetime. So Within Our Lifetime, that's also another one of the groups that's paid by George Soros. And I don't know if Within Our Lifetime has connections to Muslim Brotherhood, but I know JVP and SJP, I know they both have connections to the Muslim Brotherhood, George Soros, and Qatar. So Within Our Lifetime, I'll have to check in if they have connections to Qatar and Muslim Brotherhood. I'll get back to you guys on that. But yeah. At the Gaza Solidarity, students slept in tents, ordered Amazon, and enjoyed delivery pizza, coffee from Dunkin', free sandwiches worth $12.50 from a manager. What is that? From a manager? That makes no sense. From Pret. A manager makes no sense. Organic tortilla chips and $10 rotisserie chickens. So they had all the hell they wanted, and then they were complaining about not having any food or water. Go screw yourselves. I mean, this isn't a freaking protest. This is like a picnic wherever you want, whatever, where you get to do